Hello and welcome, friends. I'm here today to show you our new promotion available till the end of September, and it's called Creativity in Motion. So I'm going to show you a card that I've recently done in my class, and this is how it works. So it creates an animated character as you move it in and out. And if I do it this way, on the other side it's got happy birthday. So I'm going to show you how to make one from scratch. So these are part of the promotion. There are 4 stamp sets and there's also a die set. So I'll take you through. We've got the animated safari animals. You've got a hippopotamus, lion, crocodile, and fox with sentiments, which is very cute. You have this beautiful butterfly one. This is probably my favourite, actually. And we're going to be making the butterfly, this butterfly one today on a card with some of the sentiments as well. That is gorgeous. Then we have this one here, which mainly has sentiments. Hello, thank you, surprise, happy birthday, thanks and congrats. And you've got a couple of hearts there as well. We have this one here, which is the border tab. So these are just little words to prompt people that there's something they need to do. Pull here, surprise, pull this way, slide. Or you can use just little icons. There's little tiny icons there. And yeah, little words. So very, very cute. And these go with these border thin cuts. Border tab thin cuts. There are 4. I've pre-cut this one to use in the card we're doing now. But that's a set of 4. You may have something similar already that would work. That you might not want to purchase another set. So if you've got something similar, great. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you what comes in the pack. Oh, also in the pack, if you do get the big pack, Close to My Heart have designed a pack of papers. So I think I've showed this before in one of my videos. But these are pattern papers that have been part of our collections over the last couple of years. But what is different about these is they've taken a 12 by 12 sheet of paper or 12 by 12 pattern size, and they've actually shrunk it down to fit into a 6 by 6. So these are all double-sided, and you get 4 of each design. Okay, so lots and lots of beautiful papers, and they are a bargain. I also want to do a video on how you can utilize these in basic card making, so stay tuned for that as well. You can see I've got some offcuts there because you don't need a whole sheet of this to make one animated card. So let's get started on the card. I have pre-cut a few things. You will need a card base and obviously an envelope for it, but I wanted to go through the process. So I have used our square thin cuts, which are the Stitch Square Frame thin cuts. They cut out 3 different, actually they cut out a solid square, and I'll show you. So each time you run it through the machine, you'll get a frame, and you'll get the piece that comes out of the middle. And you have 3 different sizes of these. So just quickly to show you that. So I have run through the middle size one. You can also use your rectangle stitched, stitched rectangle thin cuts as well. Make the bigger. You do need the bigger. Sorry, you do need the rectangle thin cuts, or something that's capable of making the bigger size. So to fit, say, the hippopotamus, probably, oh no, he'll work. So it's mainly the hippopotamus needs a rectangle. Some of the other larger sentiments also need the rectangle. So I have a Lagoon cardstock square in the medium size square. I have 2 of the same size square in the white. I have 1 piece of the patterned paper, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I have cut a piece of acetate. This is the special acetate to make the magic happen. And this one is 3, and it's an odd size. It's 3 3/16 squared. I've actually cut it down a little bit and made it 3 and I can't remember what I did it now. 3 2/16, I think, by made it square. So about 3 2/16, which is just on the. I'll show you on here. So on here it would be 3, and it's these little lines here. So that's 1/16, 2/16, so on and so forth. So that's your 16th. So it's not a quarter. It's 3 1/4 here. So it's much less than that. So it's halfway actually between 3 1/4 and 3. I hope that helps you. So to make this animation work, your black lines on your acetate have to be vertical. Very important. I have gone ahead and cut some pieces for the sentiment. These measure 2 inches by 1 1/4 for the peach coloured cardstock. We're working with the darker side. And this one, the white daisy, is 1 3/4 by 1 inch. This one I have started out with a piece that was 3 1/2 by 2 3/4, again in the peach. Then I did use the border thin cut just to not cut much off the end at all, but basically just to put it along. You can center it, or you can have it up to the top, or you could even move that and then run it through your die cutting machine. So that's the tab, and I'll be stamping on here. So we'll get started. I'm going to start with some stamping. I'll start with the pull tab. So when you first get your stamps, if you are new, you need to either rub them on your skin. They just have a coating on them from the manufacturing process. So we always recommend that you give them a little start by doing that. Make sure you're well inked. I'm using the Close to My Heart. I'll show you this is the magnetic closure, but the Intense Black ink, which is a solvent based ink, and this is alcohol marker friendly as well. So we're just going to stamp this along here like so. That's that done. Nothing more to do there. The sentiment is going to be on here. I've already chosen some sentiments, and this says a friend like you is rare. So beautiful sentiment to put on here, and I've already thought about who I'm going to give this card to. So that's the sentiment. I'm going to dovetail this, so I just come up a tiny bit in the very middle, take a snip from that side, and then a snip back there. I'm going to do the same thing at this end. Little snip, and then join them up. If you do it this way, you are more likely to have it beautifully positioned in the middle. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do the similar thing, but I'm going to start with the white one positioned on top, and not cut in as deeply for your first cut. Go there, You can always use a little bit of temporary adhesive to hold them in place while you cut your peach cardstock. Of course it will move. Okay. Right, so you do get the opportunity to go back and even it up if you weren't quite right. I'll leave it like that for now. That's that done. Put my scraps away. These are our micro tip scissors. I have a little bit of little bit of ribbon around there, just so that I can find them easily in my tool caddy, because both of our scissors have grey handles. So the non-stick scissors, which I have put somewhere, the non-stick scissors are also grey, but they have the black blades. So when they're standing up, I can see which ones are my ones for cutting ribbons, and I do also use them for paper, which I probably should have a separate one for ribbons. Okay, so that's those. We are then going to, I'll tell you what we'll do next. I've got one more lot of stamping to do. Actually, I might do that. So for this little job, I will need to move this away for part of it. So just lining up where we're going to have this. I'm going to keep it equal distance left and right. I'm going to come down a little bit from the top. So a little bit there. So, yeah, so I'm going to keep a gap on the side. This tab is going to sit here, so I need to accommodate the tab, and I can see I need to come back maybe a fraction just so it's on there. So that looks pretty good to me. This might come in a fraction more. Okay, so you could use a lead pencil at this point to do this stamping, but sorry, a lead pencil to just a mark, so you are more aware. Now this stamp has been used before, so I don't need to. I'm going to put a couple of these little hearts down. This is going to help me to line up where I'm going to do the next part of what I'm doing. Now we do have a little blotchy stamp. I might actually stamp this with black ink first, and because I'm stamping off the edge of the page, I'm actually going to get my little scribble sheet of paper, and I'm just going to pop that down and then stamp there. And then down here, same thing, I'm going to do that and there. Okay, that's that one. But what I would like to try, and I haven't practiced this, so I hope this works, is I want to, on my this was our Versamat, which has the spongy side and then the measurements on the other side. Now I want to use my multi-purpose mat, which is fantastic for multimedia and messier things, because it just wipes clean. So I'm just going to put that there, and what I would like to do is use my black shimmer brush. Now there's a few things we could do here. We could definitely do some splattering, so just do like this, but I want to actually try something. I want to actually stamp with it, so I'm going to put a blob on my mat. So I gave it a little squeeze. Just going to spread it out a little bit. Okay, pop that back, and then I want to get my blotchy stamp and just go over it and pick up some of that ink. This is alcohol ink. Yes, that looks great. So I've done it twice onto the scrap paper. So I think what I need to do is once on scrap paper, and then the second time I stamp it, I stamp onto the project. Pretty good. I like it. I like it. Alright, so just going to clean this up now with a baby wipe. I did put out too much, but anyway. that was note to self, I don't need to squeeze as much out. Okay, so clean that up. So we've got our base section done. The only other section we need to stamp is our feature elements. So bringing this back in, and I'm going to stamp a butterfly. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this beautiful butterfly. So what I did want to show you is how to go about loading these stamps onto your clear acrylic block. So our clear acrylic block also has a groove at the bottom, and that's the side that your stamps get positioned onto. And you will see by the shape of this block, I've got a round side here for our fingers to grip hold of. Makes it nice and just feels really nice in your hand. They are nice thick blocks and solid. And then you've got this side, which is quite a sharp corner here, and that's the side for the stamp. So what I want to do is show you exactly how to position these stamps onto the block, because you do have to position them completely the way they are intended. So we are stamping with this stamp here. Actually, I think I want to go with the other one. So I want to stamp with this one. So put this one back. So as you can see, the stamps aren't straight on the carrier sheet. They are off to an angle. So they are meant to be stamped in that very orientation. So I am using, you can use your carrier sheet because the vertical lines are printed on here. I might move this up in case I'm off screen. So the lines are printed on your carrier sheet, so you can use your carrier sheet to help you line them up. Or I can see on my Versamat that I have the vertical lines on, the vertical lines of my stamp are on the vertical lines of my mat. Then I can come in with my groove at the bottom, mind my head here, and then I can line that groove up with one of the horizontal lines across, and then line that up, and my stamp should be perfectly aligned. Okay. Once you get the hang of that, it is smooth sailing. Truly is smooth sailing. So now I'm going to bring in my little piece that I'm going to be stamping my butterfly onto. And remembering I'm wanting to stamp this perfectly square. And this stamp block is 3 inches by 3 inches. One of our many. I can't remember how many we've got in our range, but once you invest in these, you should not have to replace them ever. So this is about where it's going to go. So I'm going to ink up. I might just do a practice run on a piece of scrap. I like to do that just to make sure that I am inking up. This also is a new stamp, which this is the first time I'm using it. So I can see there it needs, it's not a clear image because it is new and I forgot to rub the surface. So I'm going to stamp this off a couple of times. That's getting better already. So usually about 3 times of stamping this onto scrap paper is enough to season your stamp. And I think we're good to go. So inking up. I might be off screen, I'm not sure for this part, but again I'm using that intense black ink and that looks really well inked up now. This is a quick drying ink as well, so I am wanting to work fairly quickly. So I am placing it a little bit off to the left hand side of my panel. Just leaving that on the cardstock there, giving it plenty of time for the ink to transfer onto the cardstock and give us a nice image. Now I am holding it fairly firmly I'm not pressing crazy, but fairly firm. That should be enough. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, so I think that's all the stamping done. So now it's construction time. So bring all my elements back in. What I wanted to tell you about with these is that if you didn't want to buy these stitch frames, you don't have to. This is a square stitch frame, so you can make you can make these and cut these with your trimmer. This one is the 3 1/4 square, so you can cut these out of cardstock and then cut the inner piece out just by measuring that up. So that's a 1/4 inch frame around there. So what we want to do with this now is cut off one side. One side, we need 3 sides of this to create the sliding mechanism. And the white ones are what we're cutting. We are cutting off one side from the white, not the top layer, because these are the pieces that won't be seen, these white ones. I'm going to use some of my liquid glass, and I have left my spout on, so this is how you get them with this spout. This is an optional extra that you can purchase, and mine was a little bit, I didn't want to trust it. I thought it might be clogged, so I've just left mine like this. This was a new jar of it, actually, bottle. So I'm just going to hopefully get this to come through. Maybe not. This always happens when you don't want it to. I even cleared this nozzle before we started. Right, you don't need very much of any liquid product here because you don't want it oozing out. This does dry fairly quickly, but why I'm using this over one of our mono glues, because we have the blue aqua mono and we have the green multi Tombow glue, but this one is definitely a very strong glue, and we do want, because we're going to be adding moving parts, I want this to be not coming unstuck, especially when we get to the acetate. So that is already lined up and holding very well, so we'll just pop that one. Actually, we'll bring that one back in. So what we want to do now is put the acetate on. So we want to make sure that the acetate is running vertically. So we are wanting to put this, we are wanting to put glue on the 3 sides. I'm just going to not put it on the acetate. I'm going to put it on the frame. Just a little snail trail, I suppose, of that. I always tap down my liquid glass and wipe the nozzle clean, and then put the lid on straight away. Position my acetate on. There we go. And then again, we do need the glue. To now, actually, I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put that on onto the back of the Lagoon cardstock square, and this time it's going to be on the 4 sides because we want it to stick onto all 4 sides of the acetate. Okay, bring that back in. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to just sit a block on top of here, making sure that it hasn't slipped at all, which I don't think it has. And then we're going to work on our stamped sentiment. bringing this back in. I'm going to stick these two together without worrying about any foam tape under or in between, and I'll put some foam tape between the two layers. So I have left quite a border along here, which I think I would like to cut back just a little bit. So you could possibly, the measurement I gave earlier, you could take back, you can cut off just 1/8 of an inch off there. That's better, that's more even. Okay. Alright, and then with some foam tape, which I think I'm running very low on. Let me see. Oh, here's some. I thought I'd run out actually. I'm getting very low again. So this is when I need my non-stick scissors for my foam tape. And of course they're not here. I don't know why they're not there. I'll have to find those. So I'll just go in with this. And we don't want a saggy, we do not want a saggy sentiment. So I like to make sure it's well supported. So in the instructions that come with this kit, and you've got these instructions here, okay, it does say to use the narrow foam tape to pop up your frame. I'll show you that in a second. I'm just taking the covers off, and I'm not going to position it on the card front straight away. I'm just going to get it ready, because first thing we need to do is position this. So we've got this gorgeous little frame. I'm going to bring that across here. I'm going to have my sliding mechanism, or my sliding piece here. Yep, about there. And then this little piece I can now position in this space made just for it. There you go. Alright, so let's pop this down with some, I'm going to go with this glue, the Aqua Tombow. And when you're gluing paper together, this is good. It was more for the acetate that I went for the liquid glass. Okay, 3 sides. I've put the glue on 3 sides. And now I'm going to just bring this in more to the left, and making sure that's nice and straight. Okay, and one stamping we have not done, so I'm going to flip it over like so and come in with the piece of stamping that I've forgotten, which says, it's a sentiment, and it says butterfly kisses and birthday wishes. No, I don't want that one. What else can I put on there? Let me think. Now that stumped me. I didn't read that very well, did I? So on here we have, for my beautiful friend. So I'm going to get that one. And I have our beautiful long stamp. Now the way I get these straight is this takes all the hard work out of it. You just drop it onto your mat, find out which side's got your groove, look through, and voila, new stamp. I'm going to season that. Now, you might be saying, Alison, it's too long. So what I will do is do some clever masking, or I could cut my stamp. What will I do? I think at this point in time I will just do a simple mask of it. So to do that, there's two ways, but I'm going to try just inking up the first two words. Let's try it first. Okay, it's brand new stamp. I need to do it maybe another time. I did season it. Maybe I didn't season it on my arm very well. Oh, now I've got the rest of it inked up. So I'm going to put For My on the first line, making sure there's no ink on the corners. For My, like so. Again, we're using intense black, quick drying, but we want it to soak into the paper, so we want to give it time. For My, and then I'm going to practice on my scrap. Beautiful Friend, that looks pretty good. Second time for good luck. I can see I've picked up some black, so we want to make sure we don't get the black on the artwork off the block. And I want to flip this around to mask off this Beautiful Friend, and I just want that part. Just to be sure, I'm just going to put a little bit more ink and put Beautiful Friend. Alrighty, so fantastic. That's pretty good. I should have taken a little bit more time, but it's done. That is done. Okay, so perfect. This should have dried by now, so let's give it a try. Now, that's sliding in quite nicely. I can see I've got a little bit of the tab here sticking out, little piece of overhang, which sometimes happens. I might not have quite had it straight on my cardstock when I cut it. But this is only my second card making, second card of this design, so it needs a little bit of fine tuning, and like anything new, getting used to. Let's see, that should have fixed the bottom bit, and I'll fix the other one off camera. Now this just has to be stuck onto a card front, so let's have a little look. That is so cute. And all that needs to be done is a little tiny bit of blingy bling, and I have some clear sparkles that come in the packet, in the whole bundle. So I will put a little bit of bling around, and I will finish that one off. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing how this card goes together and how you use these beautiful stamp sets called Creativity in Motion. These are our special for National Stamping Month, September 2020. So yeah, if you like those, you know what to do. Look for my website down below. on if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're on my Facebook page, Ali Scraps, then look for my shop tab above for you to go and purchase these. Thank you for watching.